What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I am here today with a brand new review for Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 8, you guys. The episode is titled Selec-Tiff Memory, you guys. So, before we jump into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then do me a solid favor and stop taking me out in this dating app and me pay for it at the end of it, you guys. You guys know you can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and also by sharing the video. And with that out of the way, you guys, without further ado, let's discuss Love and Marriage Huntsville, shall we? Alright, you guys, so honestly, this episode for me, it wasn't like a lot that happened in the episode, so I don't expect for this video to be like super duper long. So what do I want to start up with? Actually, let's just talk about it real quick, you guys. So you guys know that Carlos King, he has his podcast, he has his YouTube channel, right? Y'all know he does reviews of the Real Housewives of Potomac and Atlanta. And it's very interesting to me. I don't have an issue with Carlos by no means. I think, you know, I think from what I see, he seems like an okay person, right? But the thing that I have an issue when it comes to Carlos is the fact that he critiques the Bravo shows so heavily, right? And he's talking about, you know, Real Housewives of Atlanta. He's talking about the storylines over there. But when you come to Love and Marriage Huntsville, Love and Marriage DC, even Bell Collective, right? As much as I praise Bell Collective, those ladies, even like Letitia has the same storyline. Latrice kind of similar, has the same, like they still have the same things, right? So I think that, you know, he can talk about what needs to be done on other shows, but you gotta take a look at your own backyard as well and realize that there are some things that you need to work on with your shows. But that's neither here nor there. So this episode, we see Melody. So Melody, she was with some guys, and she was talking to them about property preservation. Now, to keep it real with you guys, I don't know nothing about property preservation, nothing. So I can't really tell you guys what she was talking about, but whatever she was talking about, it sounded like Melody knew what the hell she was talking about. So that's that. So Kimmy came by to visit her, and, you know, they started having a conversation. So Kimmy, you know, they talked about Melody's tea party that they had, right? And there's a guy walking up beside my car. Okay, he just passed. So yeah, they were talking about the tea party, and Kimmy asked Melody, you know, when it came down to you and Stormy, do you feel as if, you know, you and Stormy were able to move forward? And, you know, Mel was like, when it came to me and Stormy, it's like a plant. It's like, you know, when you water in the plant, you got to give it water, you got to give it some sunlight, and let it see it bloom, right? I don't think that anything is gonna bloom with Melody and Stormy, but that's my personal opinion, right? So they also talked about Miss Betty, and, you know, Mel didn't really expect that. I don't think a lot of us expected the situation with Miss Betty. Now, I know that on social media, Miss Betty has said some things, but you guys know I don't really, when it comes to Love and Marriage Huntsville, I don't really keep up with what these people say on the outside of the show. I don't keep up with them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, none of that. So I never know what is happening real time. So that's that. The only time I'll know something that's happening in real time with the Love and Marriage Huntsville cast is if it hits the blogs, like what happened last week with Martel and Melody. The only reason why I know about that is because it was on all the blogs, like the Neighborhood Talk and everything like that. That was the only reason why I knew about that. So then Kimmy is telling Melody about the situation with, you know, Tiffany and with Kiki, right? So Mel was like, but, you know, after the tea party, I had both of them over to my house with Nell Fletcher, and they agreed to let things go, right? That was then, but Martel's launch party was, you know, his party for his that upscale magazine. It was a different story. And honestly, we'll talk about it once we get there, but that was on, you know, I'm not even gonna sit here and put that on Kiki, and I'm not gonna put it on Kiki, Stormy, Tiffany, Letitia, nobody, because there's equal parts in all of this, right? Kiki went to Letitia, showing her the text messages. Tisha showed the text messages to, you know, told Stormy and Kimmy about it. Stormy decided she wanted to bring it up in front of the ladies. I get all sides of it. Like I said, we'll discuss it once we get there to it, right? So then Kimmy is talking about, what's going on in her life and how with her life, the biggest stressor that she has is in her household. I'm like, girl, that ain't shocking at all. Because when it comes to Maurice just seems like it's all about him. He doesn't take into, when Kimmy says things to him and about the household, that is. It just feels like we have these antiquated ideas. It's like these antiquated ideas of, well, you're the woman, so you should be doing this, you should be doing that. I'm the man, I go out and do this and I go out and do that. That's what it gives to me personally. But you guys can tell me what you think, right? And the biggest stress is co-parenting with Maurice when it comes to Maurice Jr. And it was very evident in this episode what she was talking about once we got to their scene. I was like, ooh, like Maurice is talking about, well, like I said, we'll hold off on it, but we'll get back to it. But she feels like Maurice doesn't back her up, and I was like, girl, you are 100% correct. Maurice doesn't back you up, but like I said, we'll get to talk about it once we get to it. But let's pause here and let's go ahead and move forward, you guys. So next up, let's talk about Tiffany real quick. So Tiffany is meeting up with Stormy, right? So Tiffany feels a way about Stormy bringing up at the party the text messages, right? And one part of me, like I said, I can see both sides of the coin. I can see how Tiffany feels a way about it, right? Because Tiffany feels like, if you knew about this, why did you bring it? Why was that the time to bring it up, right? I get that. Let me know ahead of time what I'm walking into. Like, hey, girl, so Kiki sent Tisha a text message about you, and it ain't the best looking text message, right? That could have been done. But at the same time, I get Stormy's point of view, right? Stormy is like, the problem with this group is we keep things bottled up and then they come out at the most inopportune time. So I got Stormy in that particular moment. She's like, so yeah, Stormy just wanted it all on the table. So then Stormy tells her that, Kiki is a very pleasant person, right? Because they went to do Reiki, right? And, she says, I don't feel like you should write her off necessarily. Here's my thing again with Tiffany. I do believe Tiffany is putting 20 on 10, right? Yes, what Kiki did to Tisha was fucked up, right? But that ain't got nothing to do with you. If it's okay to say, I don't want to be friends with you, but we can be cool and we can be cordial. Like, I'm not going to tell you anything personal in my life, because if you can backstab your own cousin, I'm somebody that's not related to you. What will you then do to me? So I definitely understand it, right? So then, Tiffany told Stormy about her conversation that she had with Sheree, right? And I am with Stormy. We know why Tiffany did it. Tiffany did it to get the mess started, because that is who Tiffany is, right? But at the same time, Tiffany, that ain't got nothing to do with you. If Sheree has not met Mel, that's between Sheree, Mel, and Martel, not you. Asking her about being with a cheater, that has nothing to do with you. Like, none of those questions that you asked had anything to do with you. You were just trying to get the tea. I don't have a problem with it, but you were just trying to get the tea. And kind of like what Stormy said, you're a little too invested. Absolutely. Way too invested. So Tiffany asked Stormy, how is she and Mel, right? So Stormy was like, I ain't even talked to Mel, so it is what it is. So she did say that, it was very interesting that Miss Nell has never really been around them. But for her to say that, she can sense that there's something not right between them, it lets her know that she's not crazy. Now, I have nothing to say. I don't really have anything to say about that, because this is also something that happened on social media. So I don't really know what the situation is between Stormy and Mel and Miss Betty. I don't want to know what the situation is. I don't care what the situation is. I think my issue with this part is social media is a big problem when it comes to this cast. And it's kind of like what Stormy was just saying to Tiffany. Instead of us either going to social media or it blowing up at the wrong time, let's just while it's fresh on everybody's mind, let's just address this shit and just put it on the table and either we gonna move forward or we gonna be like, what, I don't rock with you, and leave it at that. So I definitely get where Storm is coming from, but this is a reality TV show, so what happens in real life doesn't happen on reality TV, right? So the next scene we got with Tiffany is Tiffany going to, see an ultrasound of the baby. Um, Carlos and On. Y'all could have literally kept this scene. It was nice to see their baby, right? But them talking about them having sex and how long it took them to get pregnant, I don't need that. I didn't care to hear it. I don't ever want to hear it ever again in my life. I don't ever want to envision them having sex. Please, for the love of God, absolutely not, you guys. But let's pause here and go ahead and move forward, you guys. All right, you guys. So next up, we got Letitia. So, me and Kiki, we going to Alabama A&M for a basketball game. So they're in the car, and literally, this is the whole entire scene. They're just in the car having a conversation, kind of like what I'm doing with you guys, all right? So the gist of their conversation was they were talking about Tiffany. Here's my thing with Letitia. Letitia didn't address Tiffany in the comments about her marriage last week. Girl, you should have been one-on-one when it came to that situation. You should have immediately addressed her and be like, you know what? So Stormy told me that you told her about my marriage, right? Kiki also has an issue. She's talking about the fact that Letitia showed them the text messages, right? And so Kiki wanted to blast Tiffany when the group was together. I was like, oh my God, are you serious? Not Kimmy, but Letitia's like, the reason why I showed them the text messages is because I wanted them to understand why you were so upset with Tiffany. I get it. I actually get Letitia more than I do, Kiki, right? Because Kiki just wanted to blast that woman. Letitia just wanted to be like, y'all, because instead of people just saying, I don't understand why Kiki has an issue with Tiffany, we ain't never saw them interact with each other like that. But the text message proves that they have had interactions with each other. They do know, and once again, they do at least know of each other. They might not know each other personally, but they know of each other. So Letitia is once again talking about these rumors about Tiffany cheating, right? Now, whoever name they dropped, they bleeped his name out, right? Because I guess he said, y'all ain't finna run my name through the mud. And Letitia, let me get you hip to something real quick, right? These are rumors. So, not Letitia, but Tiffany is speaking on your marriage. She's speaking on what she sees on the show. As far as you repeating a rumor that you've heard, I would tread lightly with that. I would really tread lightly with repeating a rumor, because that could open you up to a whole ass lawsuit, and you have a whole lot of stuff to lose. So I would tread lightly with this rumor. I would tread lightly with that. And again, like I said, the fact that she said this man's name on camera, granted it was bleeped out, but if somebody lives in Huntsville and they can read lips, which I'm someone who can read lips, right? If you bleep something out, or even if I can't hear you, I can definitely read your fucking lips. Now I was watching this on my phone, so I didn't get to look at Letitia's mouth to see what she said, but I would tread lightly with that one. But that's all I got for that. Let's pause here and move forward, you guys. All right, you guys. So next up, let's talk about Kimmy and Maurice, right? So, oh, that's a big ass dragonfly. So Kimmy and Maurice, you guys. So they're at home, and they talked about Martel's party. And Kimmy is talking about how Sheree isn't at all what she expected, right? And I think that's one of the things when it comes to reality TV, right? Sometimes what we see on reality TV, sometimes these people amp it up and dial it up for the show, but that's not necessarily who they are in real life. But also with Sheree, I do feel like with Sheree, what happened is you guys are people that she doesn't necessarily know like that, right? So she's not going to give you the Sheree that we see on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's going to give you a more toned down version of Sheree, because again, she doesn't know y'all to that extent. So Maurice Jr., he came in and he was talking about the fact that he's in boot camp. And I was like, what kind of boot camp is he in? Then the doorbell rang. I was like, oh, he's in a boot camp that his father set up. I was like, okay. Then when they started talking about the boot camp, I'm like, this ain't really a boot camp. This is just Maurice waking this boy up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go work out, do this, do that, right? They got an action plan about what to do for school. But Kimmy said, okay, so what about chores around the house? He said, oh, that's on the list. So Maurice told him to go get his list. So Kimmy said, read off the number. What number is the chores on the list? Out of 20 things on the list, chores were not on there. And I was like, see, Kimmy, that right there just proves what you said earlier, that Maurice, the thing that I was wondering is, how successful is this boot camp? Because this boy can even regurgitate what the purpose of it is. Like, what is he getting from it? What is he learning? He ain't learning a damn thing. Like, I don't know what is going on. I just don't get it, you guys. But it feels like if it's not important to Maurice, then he doesn't give a damn, right? If it's important to Kimmy, it ain't important to Maurice. Maurice is only worried about what he's worried about, right? He's worried about, now granted, the boy's academics is absolutely something to worry about, right? His grades, getting into school. Now, I could have swore I heard a football scholarship, right? But those are important things to get into school, right? But you also have to think about life skills. You got to give this boy life skills. And I didn't hear nothing about life skills. But, you know, it's his son. I ain't got nothing else to say about it, but I want you guys to tell me what you think down in the comment section below. And let's pause here and wrap up this episode, you guys. All right, you guys, so this is the scene of the episode that I didn't really 100% like. And I'm going to tell you guys why I didn't like it. So Maurice and Martel and Marcel, they are studying, right, for Martel builder's exam, which, has he taken it again and passed? Hopefully this man passes that builder's exam. Ain't it an open book test? How does he keep failing open? Never mind. I'm gonna let that one slide. So, where we at? What we talking about? Oh, yeah, Marcel and Martel studying for the builder's exam. So, what's her name? Tiffany. She came down there, right? Now, they were supposed to talk about something, a march in Selma, Alabama, but they then talked about Martel's upscale magazine party, right? And that opened up the floodgates for him to talk about Sheree and the things that were said to Sheree. So, here's my thing. I know that Martel didn't set this scene up. I know that this was production who gave them a call sheet, right? The question that I have with this is, why was it Martel and why was it Marceau and not Martel, Big Lou, and Tiffany, her husband? Because it just kind of felt like they were ganging up on her, and I just did not like that. Granted, I'm not a Tiffany fan, but I didn't like that particular scene. So she told them what she said, and I like the fact that she kept it a buck with what she said, but I just didn't like it was Martel and Marceau. Like, what the fuck? It just didn't come off right. It just did not come off well at all. So Martel, she told them that she asked Sheree, what is it like to date? How does she feel dating a cheater? Martel says he's not a cheater. He cheated, but he's not a cheater. I was like, apples and oranges, like touche. It's the same thing. You cheated, which means you are a cheater. Like, she didn't say how do you feel dating someone who is currently who's currently cheating. Like, cheated, cheater, and cheating, like they're different things. Like, you cheated on your ex-wife, you are a cheater. You're not currently cheating on Sheree, which I'm not going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about that. So yeah, I just didn't like this scene. I have nothing more to say besides the fact that this scene just wasn't one that I actually liked. And this is coming from somebody who don't see it for Tiffany on any given day of the week. But that's all I got for this episode, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section below. You guys subscribe to the channel, turn your post notifications on, you guys, share the video, and until the next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, you guys, wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.